Hi, this is for Generation X because I was doing the dishes here and I put on some music on this incredible Sonos sound system that my parents gave me for Christmas or my birthday or both. And picked this specially made mix for me, and it was called Time Capsule, and it was the songs that me and my little boyfriend slow danced to way back in 7th grade. Boy, took me back. You know the ones. I've been waiting for a girl like you to come into my life. Real bit cheesy. Like, I would never think I like any of those songs, but boy, it took me right back to the old gym, all dark and sweet, solid Mike May, all sweaty from all the fast songs because we like to dance. Just, that clinging to each other and going around in a circle to the beat. Real simple, dorky, and yet it really I realized, well, I'm 50 now and I'm never going to be a kid again. I don't know that I don't know if that really sunk into me before. Of course, I have my inner child who's like, hey, but I'm pulling cards here while I talk to you. Not that anyone will watch this, but some people watch this. And thanks for watching it. It helps me to talk to you and I feel you. Okay, so we get, wow, I forgot this card, the will. Yes, I'm feeling some nostalgia. So what if the Six of Cups comes up today? Is it nostalgia? I just feel like really in touch with my nature and how I came to be how I am because of my life. And it wasn't easy to be 11, 12, 13. It was a hard time of my life. All right, well, let's look up the will. Let's get out of me, get into you. That's what I'm doing. This is not about me. This is a gift for you, my friends who are my fellow Generation Xers. All right, will. Decisions require action. You are in control of your own decisions and life, no one else's. Passion and will determine a great proportion of your success. You will persist. You possess free will, which means you should focus on yourself first and avoid placing your will over another's. I have the will to make the changes I need. I want to read a little bit more of this because it seemed kind of interesting. Contrary to popular belief in witchcraft traditions, practitioners do not interfere with another's free will. This means we do not cast spells upon people to influence their behavior. How do we get what we want instead? We cast on ourselves in line with our will, focusing carefully on what we would like in our lives instead. For example, instead of casting a spell to get back our ex-boyfriend who doesn't want us by influencing his will to love us again, we more ethically cast upon ourselves for our ideal partner. This way, we don't interfere with his free will. And if the ex is our ideal partner, he will return to us freely. If not, we have attracted someone new and better for us. Either way, win-win. To use our will productively, we should assess what we really want and make sure this is what we want to reach for. All right, so that's what we're going to think about. Here's the proper use of the will. And I think in that is the surrender to what is best and to not knowing what is best. All right, so let's pull here with a good tarot. I'm just totally impulsively doing this reading, so I don't have a plan, but I'm just feeling what feels right. So I was having so many feelings listening to those corny old songs. Journey. I don't even know these bands. I don't know who sings that song. Cher. some of these songs I love. Heart. Pat Benatar. I was a Pat Benatar fan. So there's a lot happening in the world right now. A lot. And we have this opportunity here, us Generation Xers, right? Like, we were made for this isolation. But I personally feel like a little bit without an anchor here. You know, that I'm loose. I live in this house in these woods that I love. I have this amazing dog and cat. I've reconnected with family. It's been really important to me to connect with family in this shelter-in-place time. I'll share, like, the bottom of the deck here is the Path, which is a card I quite often get. And I do feel like this reading is about finding the path. And there's a lot happening astrologically. If you listen to astrologers, like, huge amount happening. Maybe it's because I'm listening to them. You know, I feel like this profound need to know this path, to prioritize, to find the right use of my will. Not only just to make my little life happy. I have a beautiful life. I regret that I don't have a partner at this age. I think a little bit of that came up for me, but, you know, like, Mike May and I were never going to end up being a couple. You know, I was so gay I was just gay from the very first day. And, but I really loved that Mike May. That's what I was thinking about, was how, even though I never kissed that boy, we held hands, we danced, we had a lot of fun. Like, you know, I was just in love with the idea of love. And but there was just, like, all the pain that those obsessions kept me from. That's what I think I'm feeling today. All right, so we're looking at the will. I'm going to pull good 7 cards here from the Good Tarot. So in our recent past, we get the 3 of Fire. And this card is usually about waiting for something to come in. I also, in this particular image, we see this magical boat flying through the air, very Peter Pan kind of imagery. Maybe where you may have the feeling of waiting for this one to come in, or I feel like this is you. This is you in the recent past, just in this kind of dreamy unknown. There's a compass there. This magical person coming through the pink clouds there. That's you in the recent past with your cat mask or cat ears. Does she have cat ears? She's got a great headdress going there, right? So this is clearly your inner child going through. And then we have in the present, we have a 3 of Water. This is a friendship, reconciliation, an emotional place, good heart place. That's where you are now. So 3 and a 3. Recent past, a 3 of Fire, which is wands and passion and willpower. Okay, we'll keep looking here. Hidden influence is the Page of Air. This angel of truth here. Air, mind, intellect. Just a messenger. Yeah. So we can see this angel is open, waiting for that little feather to come down. So that's what that card tells me. So that's happening. So there's a truth coming in. You've been traveling in this magical 3 of Fire place in the recent past, and now you've gone down into your feelings. Even though this is a card about friendship, I see her alone. And there's a lot of solitude in these cards here. But she has definitely received the gift of love from her friends and others. And now there is a truth coming in, and that's something that we don't know yet here. Okay. You appear in this reading, Generation Xer, as a magician, the manifester. So, we're told to use the will here and to use it in the right way, to know what we want and to be sure it's what we want. And the magician is the manifester. This is the perfect card of exerting your will and envisioning what you want coming in to your world. So you need to know this truth, whatever that will clarify everything. But the people around you are in the Nine of Water. This is emotional fulfillment. She has the key to that chest of gems, which I don't really like this Nine of Water, Nine of Cups, because it's very pentacly to have all these jewels. So I need to, use that as a symbol for what is the most valuable thing to me. And since I'm of water as a Scorpio, it's not things. It's not material things. It's emotional fulfillment. That's what that card is supposed to be about. So that's the person in your life. They're individually in emotional fulfillment. All right. Now your advice is the Seven of Fire, which is a card about resistance. But here we see resistance appearing as a unicorn rearing up on the precipice and accompanied by fireflies. Very magical image of integrity, really. It, as the form of resistance that this card wants to tell us about is like, be your weird old self, Okay? And the future is the Queen of Earth, and that is a beautiful card of practical security, very maternal and earthy usually. This one seems like a very magical priestess of Earth here, not so conventional in any way. I mean, she's got all this gold, which is about the pentacles and abundance and everything. But she's definitely also very much of Earth. And so the Queen of Earth here is appearing much more as a goddess of our planet, very much like the Empress often appears in the cards here. Well, the future looks good, and I like the advice of have integrity. And here we are, you are appearing as the magician. And there's definitely a message about using your will with integrity. And then you're going to get this Queen of Earth. And we'll clarify everything here. Not sure. I have 2 decks here to choose from to clarify. I think I'm going to choose the Klimt. Maybe because the Queen of Earth had so much gold, that was the deck that came to my mind. Okay, let's see about the Three of Fire. I need to know what this truth is for sure. I just want to know a little bit more about what you've been doing recently. I know what I've been doing. But you look like you've been kind of dreamy and maybe a little bit off with your inner kid, not in the practical real world. And then, you're still in Three of Water. So let's find out a little bit more about the recent past and the Three of Fire. Let's see, we get the Queen of Cups. Here, she's fab. This the emotionally receptive and expressive and mature queen. The Hierophant, Mr. Institutions. It seems like parents and then you're being a kid, like there's like grown-up stuff. And then you're like, I'm going to go off in my magical boat. And you get the Ace of Wands is the other part of the recent past. A person who has a new idea represented here as, it looks like a pregnancy here. I see you and your 3 of fire boat kind of, you're sailing away from all of these grown-up concerns here. Even though the Queen of Cups is emotional and maternal, maybe not usually, but I think I'm getting a maternal vibe here because the Ace of Wands, which just means like you recently had a new inspiration, a new idea. But these cards, like especially with this guy and this woman, it just seem very grown up, very wealthy. Of course, I picked this deck and it's all in gold, but you're just sailing away from all that serious stuff. Maybe with your new idea, your Ace of Wands, right? You're the 3 of Wands here in the recent past. Okay, well, let's see what's happening now. What's going on with you and your friends here in the 3 of Water? Have you recently reconciled with anybody? That's sometimes what that means. It can also just mean hanging out with your friends. Let's see. King of Swords. Wow. This deep philosopher king. You also get an Ace of Swords. So this is the truth that we see coming in as the hidden influence. And the 2 of Swords. Wow. All up in the intellect right now. Behind your 3 of Cups. So the 2 of Swords, it's like a decision, a kind of inner intellectual struggle. And then you have the Ace of Swords, which is the truth. And then I see the King here, and he's looking right at this 3 of Cups, or 3 of Water. And I like this particular representation here, but the King of Swords is he can be described as cold because he's of the mind. I think of him as like a philosopher king. He's very wise and he's thought through everything. And so his ideas are going to be based on a philosophy that makes sense. Like I always think of the philosophy department when I think of the King of Swords. And he's looking directly at this 3 of Water. So are you presently in some kind of dilemma in your friendship area? So in your relationships, they're not your romantic relationships, but your friend group, people that you socialize with and spend time with. You're kind of facing a truth about them, and it's caused you to be in some kind of dilemma. And in the past, this had to do with you having an idea that you were very excited about, but then people around you they poo-pooed it. It was too childish to them. They were judgy and poo-pooing it. They were like, act your age. And then you're like, screw you, I'm getting in my boat. I'm going to take this idea and I'm going to go with it, right? I had a beautiful idea and I'm going to get in my boat and go with it. And so now you're reflecting clearly on these relationships, on the people around you who did not support this idea. And they put you into a dilemma. So this truth, I don't think it's quite come into you yet. Some kind of truth. It's appearing here in your present, and it's also appearing here, coming in through this page of air, sort of just this little truth, and it's just coming down to you like that feather. So let's see what it is that you need to realize about your friends. They seem kind of like they're party poopers. They're too grown up. They're acting old. And your inner child's just against it. Okay, so we have the Slowpoke Knight coming in with the plan. What else do we have? The Empress. So here's how the Empress appears in this deck. She's very martial with that helmet. But usually she's very much like this Queen of Earth is not the Empress, but she makes me think of the Empress. She's usually very much of the earth, of nature. We get the Two of Wands here. Another indication of decision, of vision. Well, it's coming in slowly, but it's a big idea, right? It's the Empress of ideas. And it's something that the Two of Wands can be a decision, but it's also about envisioning, and it's a manifesting card. So there is some kind of truth that you have coming in very slowly. It's big, and it's a key to your manifestation, which is going to lead you into this future of this Queen of Earth. So the wands, this is our will, and that was our energy over everything is will. Will's also the name I give to one of my inner children. Who I see inner child stuff here in this. And it's odd, like this seems like the same person. The King of Swords and this person. I think they're the same person. It's you. And you're thinking about your friendships, your relationships. There's a little bit of a struggle to accept some truth. That's what I see so far. Let's keep clarifying. Okay, Magician, that's you. That's you, Gen Xer. Who is this Magician? I haven't felt like doing tarot with you lately. It's a weird time. Sorry, this is probably a weird reading. I hope it's soothing to you, because it is to me. All right, who are you, Magician? You are also the Three of Pentacles. We're getting all the threes here. Oh, that's cool. Uh-oh, the Devil. And don't worry, I'll help us with the Devil. The Eight of Chalices, Eight of Cups here. You are building with others, but the Devil's here and making you feel unfulfilled. The Devil would be addiction, self-doubt, codependency. So you're building it, and it's beautiful. It's like beautiful music. And it usually, always, threes are with others. With this, you get the Three of Waters, you're present. So you're collaborating. It's very clear that you're collaborating, but you're not happy in this collaboration. Like, I'm seeing that. That's the one thing I'm sure about here. And I think you're not quite yet ready to come to terms with it, but you're thinking about it and you're working through it very slowly. But you're kind of, it's like, here's the truth coming down. Here's that little feather coming down. And then you're looking at it, and you're thinking about it. And you're thinking about it some more. That's what you're doing. You're just sitting there reflecting on this collaboration that is making you unfulfilled. And in some way, it's frustrating your ability to make the world as you wish to see it. That's what's happening. These people, they're acting old and stuck in their ways. And you have this great idea, and you're a manifester. It's all these wands, all this willpower. And you want to collaborate with these people. But it's so frustrating to you. This is what it feels like for you to be with these people. It's the Devil. There's another three, right? And it's awkward, and frustrating and vulnerable, and yeah, it's just very awkward. You don't feel good in this collaboration. And so you're over here, much like the king, right? Remember, he has the similar gesture of like, I'm not happy. I'm just seeing you reflecting on this unhappiness with whoever you're collaborating with really clearly. And you have a great idea. I mean, you're the magician. You have this great idea and you know exactly how to make it happen. But the people around you are it really feels like you're kind of young at heart with this great idea and everybody around you is being a poopy pants. Okay. Well, let's see. The 9 of water. This is the people around you. There's more than one person. It's like a 3. So it's your friend group. It's your people. Your little club of people wherever they are. Your family, it could be, but it's not your partner because that would be a 2. It's a not romantic relationship, although they could be a part of that. I see nothing about that in this at all. Okay, so let's find out more about these people, this 9 of water. All right, so we get another king. I feel lots of elders here, lots of people acting old. This guy is the King of Pentacles. He's, he's Mr. Security, and he's really holding on to that pentacle. He values that. Maybe he's having trouble letting go of that. The 10 of Wands also coming up. People that are burdened. This is the quit your job card. So these people around you they have fulfillment. This 9 of water, which for me really came through really clearly today as being more materialistic than I relate to. So that could be that could be a part of this, could just be me. But as I see like I always think of the King of Pentacles as he's so into security and abundance and wealth, and I just don't value those things. So I always think of him as boring. He can be like your ideal, this king. But there's like a feeling of like, I'm working so hard and I feel sorry for myself. He doesn't look like a lot of fun. And that's the vibe I'm getting from the people around you. Let's see, what else do we get? Queen of Swords. Intellectual Queen of Swords. I love her. I love all these people. But in this reading, they're coming out as acting old and tired and like unwilling to change, and like she's very much like doesn't take any crap. She will use that sword to cut through the bullshit, cut people out. She's a serious woman. Yeah. So this gesture that the 9 of water here's with her key, like there's just some kind of holding on here in the people in your life. Okay, so your advice in this situation, and I'm becoming clear to me why this is your advice, is you're a beautiful unicorn, act with integrity, just leap out over the edge and see what happens. Do it by yourself. There's fireflies, there's inspiration. This is another card of fire, of willpower. This clearly you have a great idea. You have the mojo to make it happen, right? Remember, you know how to make it real in the world. But there's all these people around you that are like saying, that's not practical. No, that won't work. And the cards say, who cares what they think? Just go do it without them. Don't let them rain on your parade, Generation X. So what is that vision that you have? I feel like when I've done these readings for Generation X, it's about how we're going to take all of our wisdom, all of our skills, what we lived through in our lives, what we've acquired experience-wise and heart-wise, that we have something for this world, right? I see this in my Metal Dog readings for people born in 1970, and I see it in Generation X. Like, we have something, and we might have spent our whole lives doubting that the world would want it. You know, what is that thing for you, Generation X? What is it? The thing. And you've let people talk you out of it. And you're very, very slowly, that's why this guy's here. Knight of Pentacles. You're very slowly getting to the point where you're like, you know what? I'm walking away from this situation. I'm tired of this devil. You know, I want to make art. And I want to make it with or without these people. So let's find out a little bit more about this advice. Huh. Really cool. All right, so we get, yay, the Four of Wands. This is a celebration. This is stability, because it's like a table, and it had all four legs, and it's stable, right? So, but it's also sweet togetherness, the intimacy here represented by a mother and child. So, but it can be like you with your real people, the people that get your ideas, you know, not these poopy pants who are acting, I don't want to say old, because, you know, old isn't the problem. The problem is being like a zombie and walking the earth without joy, without vision, without willingness to take a leap of faith. And you are clearly being told to take a leap of faith. And there's definitely a little bit of like, and take it easy. There's some slow down energy here. Temperance, you know, something that needs to be healed. And it can be a time thing, and it's going to lead to a Ten of Pentacles. So it's a very three-dimensional. This is kind of making me think of that old, I read the book, but it was a movie, Field of Dreams, was it? If you build it, they will come. And I'm getting that here of don't worry about what people say. Just build it. Just make it happen. And then they'll come, and then they'll see. And it's going to be a beautiful, real thing, real 3D in the world. Ten of Pentacles that's funny, because some of this looks like people are being so practical, but you have a real idea here. And in the end, we see you in the future as a Queen of Earth, which is, you know your worth, you got all your pentacles, but also to me, I'm getting from this is it's more than about having. It's about having a vision for, and we can see that I'm really seeing this tree. There's a house there, but it's also a road through the trees, and I see there aren't that many nature cards in this Klimt deck. But I'm seeing that it has something to do with a right relation with the earth. Here, we've got the Empress coming up in your hidden influences, and she's definitely representing the earth, the very 3D, and then we get, again, the Queen of Earth in our future. Okay. The Knight of Pentacles in the future. Okay, this is very, again, putting in the work. You have a plan. The Eight of Pentacles is also kind of about learning something new, a new skill. And it's about determination. What else? Let's see. The Two of Pentacles. So this is balance. See, I see two pentacles here too, because in the top there's just the two pentacles. Two pentacles, two of pentacles. And King of Cups. So this is also an emotionally mature future. This is a big vision that you have, Generation X. This is really big. It's really actually very practical, no matter what all of these poo-pooers are saying to you. They're they're acting like they're tired and they have enough and they just want to hold on to what is and they're afraid of change. But you're clearly advised to just leap out and go for it, right? Go for it. And you're going to have this Four of Wands, Ten of Pentacles, and it's going to take time. It's going to take time and it's going to be done in a methodical way. But you're fully equipped to do this. So the future is you as the Queen of Earth, putting in this work, finding balance here. So we see there's a lot of parenting images in this deck, and Generation X, we've already had our kids. We're probably having grandkids now if anybody has kids. So that is much more about you finding a balance with your youthfulness, your inner kid, and your this sort of creativity that is a result of work. And then also there's a kind of emotional maturity here. He's got this cup. It is the cup of love. And he is deep. And he has a good heart. And he is, and he or she, doesn't matter gender-wise. We've got the Queen of Earth and the King of Cups. It's a very practical, heart-based future where you are, I see this peacefulness here in this Eight of, they just seem very content and peaceful and gentle with one another. And so is this here. There's a gentleness, generosity here. And she is giving these kids a drink from the same cup that he holds here. So this future, the future is actually, I lost a lot of sleep thinking about tarot, and it's what I really think happens when I read tarot. I see something, I get clarity around what's happening. I see you. I see this that you have this great idea, and you're afraid because the people around you that you usually do everything with, your Three of Cups, they're not with you. They've been holding back. That arm on her, that hand on her waist, his arms crossed. They've resisted your beautiful idea, and you just have this part of you that just insists on going forward with this, which is wonderful. And this is clearly coming from our youth, right? When we were young and the way that the world was when we were young, that's what I was thinking about. It was there weren't neo-Nazis. We weren't worrying about white nationalists taking over the planet. How did we get here? And I felt like there were those goofy movies when we were kids about time travel. And what was that movie? Sorry. There was just a time travel where you go back and, you meet your parents when they're in high school. And there's just something about, there was a nostalgia for the 50s when we were kids in the 80s. And what was it that we missed about the 50s? Because those movies weren't about and black people were in their place and white people ruled. But there was no thinking about race at all. There was just kind of yearning for childishness, like the music of our parents, was lollipop, lollipop. There were movies that were coming out when we were young people, and I saw myself when I first learned to driving along, and I was listening to the soundtrack from, I don't know, Dirty Dancing or I can't think of the name of the movie with River Phoenix. I don't even remember what the movie's about, but they just had great soundtrack from when our parents were kids. Before Bob Dylan and before the 60s and the 70s. And, I think we used to believe our country and our government was, that we could just believe in it and that it was exceptional. And of course, in our lives, we learn otherwise. And so for me, this vision of the world that we have, right? Like, it's naive, it's childish. And we might be told, like, you can't have that. You can't feed everybody. You can't have world peace. You can't end patriarchy. Be realistic. You can't end that. You can't have the new games where everybody wins. I mean, when you're born in 1970, you were born into free to be you and me, feminist movement. The ERA was gonna happen, and it was before the rise of the religious right. And you were born into the possibility of an egalitarian society. And of course it was naive because nobody had asked. Well, that's not true. We misremember a lot about how serious people were about building alliances across race, gender, sexuality. If you really look at the history, people were really doing that. And there's a reason why it's been erased. And the reason that it's been erased and we've been fed this idea that we're divided and we can't have this beautiful world which is balanced and content and from love and from the earth. We've been convinced that we can't have this, that that's not realistic. And what do we have to lose? We should just jump out and try to make this vision real in the world. There's something about you, Generation X. There's something that you never let go of, right? And you're wise now, right? You're this philosopher king. You got the sword, and that's the way we always have done it. And there's tons of gold in these cards. I wanted that because of this Queen of Earth. There's tons of this old way of having satisfying life, but we're reflecting on it now, and we're frustrated. Whoever came and watched this and they're still with me, you're frustrated with your peers here. So part of what I'm sorry, I'm not ending this, but there's something more here in it that I haven't understood completely, and it's a part of your advice, and it's temperance here, right? And you can see she's pouring water, which represents the heart and the emotion, into the head of this statue. Now, temperance is usually pouring water from one vessel into another, and we can see this as like transmutation, as a kind of alchemical process of getting the right mix and taking the time to do that. It's sometimes the card of patience. But she's literally pouring emotion into the head of this other here. I wonder if you're right about the people in your life. I wonder if they are fulfilled, because they're showing up here as fulfilled, and you're frustrated with them, right? They're really annoying you. They're really poo-pooing your idea, or you're afraid they will. Maybe that's why the devil's here, because the devil is like a head trip. The devil's, this is what you think, and maybe you're wrong, right? You're dissatisfied. Have you been afraid to share this magical idea that you had? Have you been afraid to share that? Is that what your struggle is? And you might be wrong, because behind the Nine of Water, which is your people, I think it's more than one person, we see that there's this sort of mopey King of Pentacles, the overworked, self-pitying one, and then this really fabulous Queen of Swords. Like, I keep noticing her outfit and all of the flowers all around her. Like, I keep not saying anything about that. It seems very different from, like, she's not at all cold, right? She's kind of like, you're not seeing her accurately. That's what I think. You haven't asked your friends to be in on this idea with you. That's what I think. Yes. And I think you should tell your friends. And if they're not the right people for you, when you tell them, when you just say, you know what, this is the idea, we got to do this, you're going to find the people. That's what this Four of Wands is about. You're going to find the right people, and you're going to build this Ten of Pentacles together. And this future is heart and earth and sweetness. Sweet. It's really sweet, generous and balanced and loving, tender. I have a friend who doesn't like the word tender. She would never have listened to this whole reading. That's sad not to love the word tender. And then I try not to use it. That's sad. That's exactly what's going on here. She would never want what comes with that dislike of the word. It just gives her a bad image. It doesn't mean she doesn't want tenderness. It's just the word tender and tenderness bother her. So I use this as an example of how we may be misreading the people around us and talking ourselves out of realizing this incredible vision. We're in a time of revolution where there's new ideas, and we're in the perfect time to rebuild the world, Generation X. And we are in our prime. We're 50 or thereabouts. You're coming into 50, just past 50. We have a lot, and it's been a bummer, to be honest. It's a bummer. Like, work is just so much work and so little joy, and it just more and more they just take the joy away from my work, and it's harder and harder. It's harder and harder to love what I do. But the thing that makes me love it is this little vision that I never ever give up. This childish fantasy of this beautiful world that is earth and heart and sweet. Yeah. So thank you for helping me work through that. And let's go talk to our friends, because I might be one of your friends and you might not know that I want in on this with you. And I might not know that you want in on this with me. So we clearly need to check in with our people. And if they're not the right people, go find the right people. But we can't do this alone. This is all about threes, collaborations. So good luck. Let me know.